So I'm in my office here and I designed a electronic switch timing system for my arcade game because the TV screen has to be fully on and loaded before the Pi motherboard gets power, because if they power at the same time, the motherboard does not recognize the TV because the TV is not turned on and loaded. I guess I should call it a flat screen. Shows my age, huh? So I designed this system right here. Drew it out on paper. Going to use these solenoids and the timer that I got from Amazon. The timer, you would think they would just build one that would delay and turn something on, but no, the timers are all delay, turn it on, and then they turn it back off. And I can't get one that goes any longer than 23 minutes. Well, right in the middle of a great game, it decides to turn you off. So I have to find a way to keep it turned on. So I'm going to use the timer to turn it on 15 seconds after I turn on the machine. And that'll give the TV or the flat screen time to boot and load up. And this is what I designed. So I'm going to use these two relays, and these pins all right here correspond with these. And I drew it up and wrote down how it's going to work. Took a picture and showed a couple of people, and of course they came out and said, "Oh, well, you don't do that for a living. You can't do that. You'll burn your house down, and this will electrocute 26 people across the street and 4 people at the Fry's, you know, that you're not even close to, and you don't know what you're doing." And so I guess unless you're wearing on your sleeve a patch that says, "I went to blah blah electronic college," you must be a dumbass. So I'm going to build it, and I'm going to show that it works, and then you guys can build it and use it on yours. And no, I never went to electronics class, and no, nobody ever taught me it, and no, I don't know why I have the ability to design this shit right out of my head, but must be what God wanted me to do. I've found my purpose. He sent me here to help you guys get a good timer. So let's build it. I'll get back to you as we go on. So I'm going to start off getting some supplies ready and some wire, and got my soldering iron. So we're just going to put it together and we'll go plug it in and see if it works. Or maybe it'll burn my house down. You'll get to watch that. All right, check back in a minute. Okay, here we go. Hopefully this will not take long. First, I'm going to screw this into the timer, and this is going to run to my positive on each of these. So how do I want to do that? I'm going to just go with see here. I'm going to just strip back a little bit of the rubber, but I don't want to cut the wire, so I'm just going to kind of burn the rubber back and then strip it off there. There we go. So now we got some exposed wire there. And we're going to use a crimp. I'm just going to bend this wire over place it in there. Love trying to work on camera. It's always harder because you're trying to rush or whatever, but I'm just gonna give it a crimp and grab some solder. And I'm sure there's a better way to do this, and I'm sure you're a genius, and I'm sure I don't give a flying crap. So whatever, leave it in the comments so I can ignore it. All right, now we're gonna snip this end off. We'll use another crimp. Put her on there. Crimp her down. You know, use whatever's available to you to hold things. Heat it up. Throw a little solder at it. Blow on it so you can touch it. Now, this is going to go on this terminal and ouch. Oh, still hot. And it's going to go on that terminal, and I don't what the heck. You can run it on either terminal, but I'll keep them straight. So that's our positive to engage the solenoids. Now we're going to make a quick negative. We're going to put a terminal on one end. You know what? I want a longer wire. Show you why in a second. So each end of this is going to get a terminal. So we're going to put one on here. Aha! That's why I can't see. I'm not wearing my freaking old guy glasses. Got to put your eyeballs on when you're old. Lock that in there, crimp it down. Of course, for whatever reason, it's not holding. So I crimp it with the tighter one. There we go, got it. Now, I know my videos always run long because I kind of don't like skipping and fast forwarding and all that. I think people learn if they have to watch the whole thing. So now we're just gonna kind of lay that in here real quick, maybe sorta. there, while we touch it with a hair of solder. So you're just heating the terminal metal up, and then you're going to come in with a little bit of solder. It gives it a better electrical connection by about 100%. And longevity. So now I'm going to burn myself. Get rid of some of these pieces of rubber on my trash can over. A lot of these videos, I really don't care that I'm making them for the people. If that helps, that is awesome. If it isn't that interesting to you, I'm sure somebody's out there killing rats with a new rat trap that you could go watch, you know, that's exciting. But overall, I make these for my daughter so that she can watch them and enjoy listening to her dad talk and stuff like that, you know, show her kids who I was, show her kids that I could do things, mainly to show people and her that she can do anything if she just gives it a try. I strip the wire cover back, then I heat it, melt it so that I can peel it off. There. Now I'm going to take and twist that up, fold it over once. Now I'm going to give it a little bit of solder if it wants to cooperate. Come on, you're a new wire. Don't go limp on me. Oh, Jesus. Really? There we go. Heat that wire a little bit and throw just a little bit of solder at it. The reason is you don't want to squeeze the wire into this terminal holder if the wire's not soldered. It won't hold. It will the threads of the wire will fray out and they'll just pull back out. But if you solder it, now it's all nice and hard and all that. And got to open this back up because I closed it on a wire earlier. So, wow, I guess we got to really open it up. Okay, so that's in the negative side. And the negative side is also going to be hooked to my power supply, which is here. And the white stripe, you should always take your voltmeter and test your power supply. See which one is positive, which one is negative. But as a rule of thumb, and don't ever take this to be, you know, correct, but as a rule of thumb, the positive is usually the one with the white stripe or the dotted stripe or something like that, you know. And so, you know, loosen that back up. And I'm actually going to solder this negative to that, which I should have done first, but I didn't think of it. I don't do this every day. So let's just see if it'll take with the solder that's there. And it won't, so see, I use things to make fingers for myself. So we're just going to heat it. Get some solder on it. Now those two are together permanently. So we're going to push it back into there. Make sure she's in nice, and then tighten her down. Now I'm going to tell you right now, the only way you're going to fail at a project, the only way you're going to fail, in my opinion, is if you don't ever try to begin with. That is immediate failure. Now I'm going to take this white striped wire and measure a piece just long enough to go from this terminal to this terminal. So this is my power supply, 12 volt positive. Okay. This is what they call common. I really don't care. I call it a pass-through. I don't know the technical term. I never went to school for electronics. I just know it in my head. I just see it. God gave it to me. So the power supply is going to power negative and positive here. That's going to run the board. This is going to click on and off. That either engages this one to come on, or when it clicks the other way, it engages this one to come on. And all this is doing is telling this wire here to either go this way, or it turns this one off and it turns this one on. So all it is a switch going over here or going over there. Okay? So I'm going to, again, solder some onto this wire. Okay, I will tell you something. When you solder really thin wire and you're doing it with a flame, it's going to try not to take the solder because the wire actually gets above a certain temperature that it can accept solder. So I'm going to try to hold the flame off of it just far enough. That it will hopefully take the solder. There it goes. All right. So I'm going to take this positive end. I'm going to place it in here. It took solder far enough down it that I don't want it too long. Got to unscrew that and lift up the trap door. So what I'm doing is I'm plugging in right now my positive from my power supply. and I'm German tightening it. And the German scale is called Gudentite. If you listen to that closely, you'll get the joke. It's Gudentite. So there is different levels of tightness. And there's on the Gudentite scale, the German scale, there's damn tight, really tight, fucking tight, cherry tight. Those are all different levels of Gudentite. So yes, I'm fully aware that I'm a dumbass. So now we're going to get power from the power supply, positive and negative. I'm going to jump the positive over to here. That positive is going to jump to this terminal here. So what have we done so far? We have connected the positive, ran it over to here. Actually, we ran it to that one. It really doesn't matter which way you go. It's just going to close the door. We've ran it out to here, and now it's running to both of these terminals here. So you're going through, you're coming through, you're going up. Our negatives are here, comes down, comes out and goes to here and goes to there. So our negatives and our positives are hooked up, which means that these are going to trip when this turns on. It's going to feed power to here. It's going to sit there and it's going to wait for this to close the door. And when it closes, it'll turn on and trip both of these. Now comes the tricky part. Okay? We're going to run a positive here, and that's going to come over to here. And that will jump through when this activates to here, which will then feed 12 volts to here. And when this one deactivates later, it won't matter because this is now feeding it. So we have to have this complete when the timer turns on to close this door. So until the timer turns on, this door's open. But once it closes, it will feed 12 volts from here to here, and this line no longer matters. Okay? Actually, this one no longer matters. So if the timer turns off, doesn't matter, 12 volts is going to keep coming out. Okay? So now we need to run a 12 volt from here to here. I should have done that wire earlier, but I've never built one of these before, so it's a little bit of a challenge. But that's okay. We're going to just make it right now, and we're going to solder it in, and we're going to move on with life as if we did it the first time. Don't get bummed out if you make a little mistake. It's not the end of the freaking world. Okay? So we're going to try and add a little bit of solder onto here. There we go. Figured out a little trick. Heat the end of the wire while you put the solder closer to the rubber wire. Now we're going to make this a little clip. We're going to crimp this puppy on. And we're going to solder it. That'll do. This end has got solder on it, so we're going to solder it right to that terminal. Just going to stick them together. Maybe. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Maybe, baby. Maybe, baby. There, I believe that finally stuck. Now I know it did. And that one's gonna go. Ooh, she's really high on the Goodentite scale. Cherry type. Okay. So now we've completed this circuit here. We've got this circuit completed. And we've got this circuit here. And we have to make this circuit down here. So we need another clip. And we need another piece of wire. I should probably leave his paper behind when I'm dead and gone so that somebody can figure this shit out. 'Cause there ain't gonna be no geniuses left. Yep, once I'm gone, that's it. Me, Einstein, we're all fucking dead. Get that solder off there. Crimp this puppy down. I like crimping it even though I'm going to solder it. I still like to crimp it. Just added insurance. Added insurance, added insurance. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Stop chasing it, you son of a bitch. Alright. So this one's going to go to the bottom one. And that is going to connect to that one. Getting quite the ball of shit in here. I'm going to pull that back out because we got to connect this to that. Get that. Gonna thread the needle, baby. Yeah. Ow. Hey. That's hot. That's still hot. Alright. So now we're just going to throw some more solder back on there. Just try not to burn our wires. Come on, man, flatten out. What the freak? Okay, now we're gonna open this back up again. A lot of you people are probably saying, why isn't he just doing that and then wiring it into the system? Well, I don't know, I guess I could do it that way. But I'm thinking I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this way I can actually watch and make sure I got each terminal connected. Okay, so now we've got this terminal connected, we've got that one connected, we've got those two connected, we've got these two connected, we have this one connected, so we're on to those two. So what we need to do now is just connect the Pi, and we need 2 more clips. I'll be right back. There, I'm back. I'm always amazed at how long this shit takes. Doesn't seem like that long on when you're doing it, but then when you look back at your camera later, you're like, holy crap, I spent 35 minutes doing what I thought would take me 6. My wife likes that too. I'm always like, this'll take 10 minutes. And like 3 days later, I'm like, fuck yeah, man, I'm almost there. Now she's always like, sure. See you in a week. And she thinks I'm not listening. Let me tell you about men. Men have the ability to do a lot of things, but one of the things men have the ability to do is ignore their wife. And that is called wife hearing. Kind of like selective hearing. Selective hearing is when you choose to not listen. Oh, ow. Wife hearing is when after 25 years of marriage, you can just ignore them naturally. You don't even have to fucking try. And you think I'm joking. Okay. This is done. So, let's go frickin' try it. Cutting out, we'll cut back in on the game. Okay, here we go. We are at the video game, and here's our Pi. Here's our flat screen TV up in here. If you want to see inside your video game, you can use these things. They are these cheesy little switches that you buy at Harbor Freight. Has a light switch on it. So I'm going to keep these separated because I'm going to mount them on the boards and stuff later. But we're going to give it a try. We are either going to see smoke, or we're going to see fire, or we're going to see success. But first, I'm going to tell you, when testing things, you always want to hold your mouth open like that. And that's so that if things go wrong and it explodes, the compression of the explosion will hopefully not crush your head. And I learned that on Tool Time. So anyway, so here we go. Mouth open, power on. Oh, that's a good sign. Let's see if we kick on. Waiting for a red light. There it is. Let's see if we got game. Ha, we got game. Sweet! So now I got to wait 23 minutes and get back with you to see if it rebooted. Because what we're trying to avoid is the reboot. So theoretically, if this turns off and those stay on, the system will stay running and we'll be successful. Check back in a few. We're still waiting. Come on, green light. Let's go, green light. Yay, green light. There it is. Did the game shut off? No, I just heard it. The game's still on. Yeah, we are successful.